Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume. Lift your head, sir. The court can see your face. It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has been a very elaborate deception. So, witness, tell the court, have you seen this man before? I don't believe it, but...
Say, there's no question. This is, the inspector we saw at the park.
Extraordinary! On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Grayson, who appeared before Mr. De Rosine and Mr. De Rusi in the park, was you, disguised as an inspector. Or rather, was you posing as an inspector, in no disguise at all. Mr. Vegal was formerly employed as the chief warden at Barclay Prison. The chief warden? Then your career had promise. Why, you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth would have been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street? Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vegal worked at the prison. 10 years? I'm really dreadfully sorry about all this. Yes, it's true. I'm Daily Vegal. And you were the chief warner at Barclay Prison 10 years ago? So where did Mr. Hugebone come from? Bone is... bother me. A name I invented. Well, evidently, there's a great deal under the surface here. I'll explain everything. I'll tell you all just how wretched my life has become. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Barclay's chief warner came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. Times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hard in selling wares at Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warner at Barclay Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugebone. I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 to the well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us that this is in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. Without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I didn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decide to conceal your occupation from them? Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence apiece, you couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison. Very true. You have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegot employment. That was all thanks to Inspector Grayson. What? Inspector Grayson? What on earth? Some years after I invented Bone, begun my other life as a street seller, he, the inspector, that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family. From that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street, increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I could carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? We always met in the little room so the inspector could brief me. Visit Oxy's tomorrow, and take a statement from the proprietress. There's always something along those lines. Surveillance work, reviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Grayson had been at work. For those services, he compensated me financially. Scotland Yard Inspector willingly relinquished his identification into your care with intention to deceive? That, as I'm sure I need not point out, it's a very serious criminal offense. But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I could say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. Don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if, well, I end up a croaker. In time, started to bring papers of him to the room as well. Became something of a second office for him. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Grayson at the park on Lime Street was really... Yes, it was me. Acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my bone disguise, and then went in to instruct the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that the bruise on my neck might give me away. Well, but seeing this confession completely destroys the defense's case. Explain yourself, Prosecutor Osagi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on the day before his corpse was discovered. The hands of these two Red-Headed League men when they imprisoned the inspector. But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day. It was me. Oh, goodness! Finally, we have a clarity. We have nothing to with the matter of the inspector. And merci, Mademoiselle de la Fence, for proving it. Ah! Order! 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 Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. This witness had no involvement in the murder of the victim. As proven, somewhat ironically, by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
Hold it!
Oh? Pardon me, my lord. With your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma? What question, Consul? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been presented at the very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago? Huh? The execution of the professor? Genshin Osugi? I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh. Answer me, man. One moment, Consul. Is this related to the current case? Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case and the events of 10 years ago are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur, Consul? Kazuma. Not yourself. Not as calm and collect as usual. Poor Kazuma-sama. No wonder he's acting this way. Mr. Vigo's memories of what happened 10 years ago would tell the tale of Genshin Osugi's last moments. His own father. I know. I do understand that. Even so. Prosecutor Osugi. Do you generally believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Grayson's death? I need you to trust me. Please. Very well. The defense has no objection. I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness. The truth is, I remember very little of that time. You've forgotten? I'm sorry to say. Yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. But for some particular reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike you as strange, Mr. Naruto? Sorry? Well, 10 years is a long time, but to have forgotten the reason why he left such an important job? Yes, you're right. And not only that, Mr. Vigo's claim contradicts what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing. It's broken all too easily. Which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protection. Sorry? The human spirit? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away. But it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface. And when they do, That fragile spirit may finally be crushed. But I really don't. Kazuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, then so be it. The truth will not stay buried. It's coming out, one way or another. Right. Now I understand. It's clear what his intentions are. He means to expose the truth, at any cost. Perhaps if I pointed out the contradiction in what Mr. Vehicle claimed earlier, it might cause some crucial memories to return to him. But should I? Should I present the evidence or not? What is the evidence? He appears to have no particular distinguishing thing. I don't think there's anything there for him. Blackbird line. He was relieved of his post with effective immediately. All rights to redundancy, pay, an official are revoked. Aiding and abetting the escape of this prison, convicted just prior to his execution. I see. Okay, yeah, that has it right there. Let's do it. I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law, and I have a duty to pursue the truth. Mr. Vehicle, I'd like you to look at this. Evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events.
Take that!
Just a few moments ago, you made the following statement. I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago. Well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of Chief Warner of your own violation. Well, yes, of course. Why? Tell me. Do you remember seeing this document before? No. No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a prison staff member's employment. A dismissal notice? And the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Vehicle. What? What? It's mine? So you didn't resign for the prison service at all. For some reason, you were dismissed as Chief Warner from Barclay. No, it's been some mistake. I'm sure I tendered my resignation. This dismissal notice is nonsense. Isn't it? You were forcibly dismissed. There must have been a good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Vehicle, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final execution that you supervised was on 17th of June, 10 years ago. And on that day, something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June... Was that the professor's execution? Professor! As you were the Chief Warner at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been presented throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar. And yet, that execution never took place. The convict, upstandingly executed earlier that day, later re-emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life. in the cemetery at the middle of the night. Was a witness. However, the witness claims that the moment after he saw the convict clambering out of his grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and then the bullet pierced the professor's chest, killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actual last moments. Yes. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of foreseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about what really happened. It's in your head. Somewhere deep down. Well, Chief Warner Dele, Veagle, I know there are memories in your head that can explain what happened on the 17th of June, 10 years ago. And now it's time for you to drag them out. Mr. Veagle? Yes, the whole prison was complete chaos. The prisoner escaped. He was killed in the cemetery. The shocking news ripped throughout Barclay like a hurricane. What? What? Order! Do you mean to say, Mr. Veagle, that your memories of the time have returned? My head, it's like some floodgates have been opened. The images, the screams. Oh, my goodness. The papers. There were reports, articles about a man seeing a ghost. Yes, in Knott's Trevor. But surely those reports were exaggerated. There were traces at the scene. Traces of what? In Lowgate Cemetery, at plot number 139. Blood. Lots of blood. That's where the man was buried, of course. Obviously, something terrible had happened there. The depths of conspiracy and depravity from which this tale is emerging are quite staggering. I reviewed the police records from that time extensively. A thorough examination was conducted by Scotland Yard to assert how the convict managed to escape in the first place. And the conclusion reached by the investigating team was that a member of the prison staff must have been involved. Are you suggesting that a prison warder abetted the man's bid for freedom? Yes. Yes, and I was suspected of doing it. Of using the mass murderer's execution as a way to help him escape. You did what? I remember now. The whole of it all was coming back to me. One evening, a few days after the execution, some detectives came to the prison. I was called to the governor's office at the top of the watchtower. I'm sorry, Delay. This is serious business. Cannot help, you know. As Chief Warner, you were responsible for overseeing the execution now forward, then? Well, it seems the fellows of Scotland Yard want to have a few wee words with you about it. You better pack your things, laddie. You'll learn. to attend in person. As soon as he told me that, my mind just went completely blank. And the next thing I knew, Professor, the most hated killer in our country's history. And I let him escape. I'm finished. My life is over. Order! Order, bailiff! Fetch a doctor at once! Court is adjourned for the day, with immediate effect!
So, with Mr. Vigil's collapse, proceedings came to an abrupt end for the day. Once again overshadowed by the legacy of that notorious killer, appearing like a cursed ghost ship on a foggy ocean. Lord Van Zieks, Mr. Vigil, Kazuma, and Gregson. All of them bound by invisible chains anchored to the same wreckage in the murky depths of the past. But the miraculous light that had been trying to cut through the gloom and shine on those tragic events was playing on the edges of the truth at last.
To be continued. Oi! Oi! What's this boy doing? What happened? Oh my goodness. Well, next time, everybody, we're going to be in for some more fun on a bun. With probably some investigation, honestly. I imagine we're going to have to do a little bit more on that situation. With that being said, everybody, thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you can. Sayonara. Bye-bye.